Hello, everyone. So this experience of building a community in Seqera, building this Nextflow and NF Core community has been very, very nice. It's been, first, a very easy thing to do, because as you can see, we have this amazing community way before I even appeared, and at the same time, very hard, because if it's so great, how can we help make it even better, even greater? So I think there's no way better to start this talk and saying thanks to all of you, otherwise I would not be here. Like, this community is amazing. From the very beginning, when I joined the community, everyone was very helpful. I wasn't an expert in Nextflow, so I indeed need a lot of help, and you all been very helpful. So everyone I helped today, I tried to remember at the beginning when I was there and was needing this help, and it was great. So as I said, when I appeared, Nextflow was already here, the community was already large, there were lots of activities. In terms of education, we had the training material that employees at Seqera created and made it public so everyone could use it to learn Nextflow or train other people to know Nextflow. We had the training at the Carpentries Incubator by Satish Perry, so very nice source of information also. We had all the places on the internet where you could find how to learn Nextflow, how to learn NF Core, and all these things. We had NF Core bite-sized talks to learn about Nextflow and NF Core too. And we had a mentorship program. The first round was already occurring, and a lot of people around the world were benefiting from this initiative. So as you can see, a lot of things were already going on. We had Nextflow events, we had NF Camp and NF Hack. There were some NF Core hackathons, the bite-sized talks, you can consider them an event too. So all this before I even appeared in the community. So a lot of stuff was going on. It was very nice. It was a lot of source of information for me to learn about Nextflow, to learn about how you all been working with these tools. And it was great. Definitely it was great. But at the same time, there were some pain points. Like, the first thing was geographical reach. I'm from Brazil, and I did my master's degree in bioinformatics, and I didn't know about Nextflow. And I regret so much about it, because I could have done so much more if I had Nextflow and if I knew NF Core. So there was this thing that NF Core and Nextflow, they were mostly in North America and Europe. And if you go far from that, either people don't know about Nextflow, or they use it in an isolated manner. They don't connect with the community, don't organize events, there are no talks. So of course you have people using Nextflow everywhere, but it's much more easier to have events in North America and Europe. The second thing that I saw that could improve was about Q&A and discussions. So at some point we would have Google Groups. People would even think that Paulo was a robot because he was answering all the questions all the time. And like yesterday during the dinner, everyone was having food, and in my Twitter, Paulo had just answered a question like 2 minutes ago, so he never stops. So after Google Groups, there was GitHub discussions, Gitter. Eventually, we land in Slack. And there are many benefits about Slack. We have threads, for example, but a lot of people, they don't use the threads. And even though you join Slack, for example, you want to ask a question, and you try to search if anyone has asked this before, even if you are willing to do that, it's very hard to search content on Slack. So in the end, what we have is every day people are asking the same questions. And this is not, even for them, that's not nice, because they are like, okay, definitely someone already asked that, but I searched for that and I couldn't find. At the same time, this has been a great experience. Like, in the past 1 year, I've answered 429 different individuals, like over 700 questions. And this is just an amazing way of getting to know the community and seeing how we can help, even with Slack and its limitations. The other thing is that we have a lot of training content, as I said at the beginning, but some of them were DSL1, some of them were already DSL2, or they were converting, and it was very decentralized. So of course, we can have like Learn Nextflow in 2023, like we have now a blog post with all these different links you can go to learn Nextflow, but it's very decentralized, it's difficult to maintain, it's difficult to find for beginners. So we had lots of great content, lots of great people doing amazing things, a large community, but it wasn't very centralized and organized. If you're already inside it and you're an experienced user of Nextflow, you can find everything. But if you just arrived, it was very hard to find content. And the community was amazing. I said this multiple times. There's a lot of people, but there was clearly much more we could do to support the community. As community members, as a company like Seqera, who supports the community a lot, and people who were like in the core team, for example, clearly there was more that we could do for the community and for new people. So again, it's great. There's always room for improvement. That's the paradox of my job. It's easy to be a developer advocate for you guys, because it's already an amazing community, but at the same time, it's so hard, because we have to make it better, and it's not easy. I've been an ambassador in other open source projects before, and I have to say this one is different in all the good ways. So one of the first things we did, and actually this started slightly before I joined Seqera, but I was already volunteer to that, was to the first thing was to update the Seqera training material that was publicly available to DSL2, to update it, to make it better, which was, again, a hard job. There were like thousands of comments. People were already working on this training material for years, for so long. So, I mean, we already got something with a very high quality, but we had to update to DSL2, we had to make it better, we had to organize it, and so on. After we did that, we have this idea of having a hub, a community portal. And then, instead of being training.seqera.io, we moved to training.nextflow.io, where we hosted the famous basic training of Nextflow, which is very complete and helps you from zero to hero, let's say. Afterwards, we realized that a lot of people were asking about localized content. So they wanted trainings in French or Portuguese or Spanish, in other languages. And then we started to do this. So basically now if you go to the training material, you have all the trainings in English, in Portuguese, and they are partially translated into French and Spanish. So now we have this basic training. We have now a hands-on training, which is like, you know a bit of Nextflow. It's been a few months or years, you don't use it. You want a quick training just to get you up to date and remember all these details. You go to the hands-on, which is very short training. And then we have the advanced one, which was contributed by Rob Simon. Amazing training. If you already know Nextflow, you should definitely try it. So the idea of this training portal was to have DSL2 content, high quality, centralized, and it's on GitHub, so everyone can contribute. And that's the best thing about it. People have contributed to it. So the Spanish was all volunteers, the French one, the Portuguese one, there were a lot of contributions, and the English, of course, people are always contributing. So if you run into something in the training material and you think it could be better, open a PR. It's going to be more than welcome. Talking to you about localized content, we had this idea in this March hackathon this year to have the trainings we always do, but in different languages. And so we recorded, like Chris Hackard did the one in English, I did the one in Portuguese, Maxime did the one in French, Julia and I think Giselle, I'm sorry, I don't remember, I think it was Giselle did the Spanish one, and Abhinav did the one in Hindi. So the feedback was amazing. People were really happy about it. We have a large number of views in all these videos, and even if, as we are always creating new content, you have this relatively up-to-date content in all these 5 languages, and it's been very helpful for people. We also had this thing that community is growing so fast. We have so many new things, new individuals, new features, new pipelines, and if you're not like every day in the community really contributing, it's very easy to miss things. And we wanted to have a place where we could talk to people and show these key players in the community, and these new features, these new events, new blog posts. Like, I'm just joining the community, I'm a bit lost. Where can I go and see this informal conversation about these amazing things that are happening very often in the community? And that's what Channels is about, the Nextflow podcast. So the mentorship was already going on. The first round, as I said, we had the second round, which again was very nice. And recently we just ended the third round. So all these rounds, they were different in a geographical way. Like the first one, we had most people from Africa and Asia. The second one was a bit of a mix. And the third one is, as you can see here. So our goal was to make sure the mentees are in underrepresented regions. So it was mostly like Latin America and the Caribbean, Africa, Oceania, a bit of Asia. So that's been our goal. We always have had over 50% of women being part of the mentees. And in the mentors, we also try to do that also. So it's been a great experience, lots of people learning. And the best thing is that it's a very good way to have people interact more in the community. So a lot of mentees, they would start with a project, and during the project, they would contribute an NF Core module. They would contribute with translation. And eventually, some of them became Nextflow ambassadors, which is the program that you heard a few days ago. So this has been a great program to increase the geographical reach of Nextflow, to create nice content, because as they are learning, they are also contributing, and we have many more NF Core modules and pipelines and all these things now. The ambassador program was the great answer we had for supporting the community. The community was already amazing. A lot of people were doing great work, and we wanted to make sure they feel recognized and we can support them and keep doing great work. Most of the ambassadors that were reached, invite them to be part of the program. We didn't have to ask them to do anything more. We just said, can you keep doing the great work you've been doing for all these years? And they happily accepted. So this is the Nextflow Ambassador Program. I won't get into detail because you already heard about it, but feel free to go to the nextflow.io website if you want to know more details. But that's the main and current answer we have to provide support for these people that have been for a long time doing great work for Nextflow and NF Core. We had also this great idea in March to do this local hackathon sites. So it was hybrid, like it was in the past, but now you could organize local sites for your local community, in geographical community, right? In your geographical area. So Seqera supported this, paying pizza and stuff, and here you have some of the pictures of some places where it occurred. So we had, like, in all the continents, we had someone doing a local hackathon site. It was a great experience, very, very nice. And again, we see these activities making people more integrated into the community. Well, all these things that I'm telling you, things that I saw could be better, things we've been doing to make it better, all this experience I had. I've been for a long time also in the past year, like just traveling in, giving talks, and spreading the word about Nextflow, mostly in Latin America and the Caribbean, and I've seen clearly an effect of that. So like next month, there's going to be an event in Chile. I got invited to give a talk. I won't be able to attend, but now we have people in Latin America who can do that. We have people been giving trainings, people writing NF Core modules and pipelines, and people who, a few months ago, they didn't know anything about Nextflow. So all this effort we've been doing on Latin America and the Caribbean, which is a region I can speak more about, we have clearly seen this benefit and people participating more in the community and contributing back, which is great. So just some numbers about this growth in the past 1 year, with like 20 invited talks in multiple countries. If you take into consideration talks from other people in the team, like Phil and Chris, then it's a much larger number. We started this initiative to have a graduate course on Nextflow. So we got in touch, it was the first demo, we got in touch with a university, and we want them to create a course for master's and PhD students to learn Nextflow and get credits for that. And after that, Seqera would certify these students. So it happened once in Brazil, it was a success, and now we want to expand. So if you think in your university there's interest about it, reach out and we will be more than happy to try to do that, make it happen. Multiple training sessions and demos. So the training sessions we recorded in the past 12 months have over 20,000 views on YouTube right now, which is great. And we had almost 3,000 registered participants in all these training sessions from October until today. So that's it. Thank you again. The community is amazing, and I'm really happy to be part of it. And I hope that you guys keep being involved, and that's it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Marcel. It is a really cool job, isn't it? All right, we have a few questions in Slack, but we're out of time. So if you can join the Slack in the spirit of, online community and all of that.
Thank you again.
Thank you so much for the